Alright, so this is the beautiful deep wavy hair that I was sent from Alipearl hair, and you guys know I've been rocking with Alipearl for a very long time. So I'm showing you step by step, not for the whole 2 hours that it took me to sew this, but I'm shortening it, showing you step by step what I am doing to make my wig. Finally got one of these wig holder stands, so I am putting the wig up, and now I'm going to be sewing the frontal on after I put the hair up into a little ponytail. Now this part takes, I want to say maybe 15, maybe 10 minutes, maybe shorter, but I was just kind of winging it. And you want the stitches of your needle and thread to be fairly close together. You don't want them to be that far apart because you will get gaps in the frontal and it just won't be good when you end up cutting part of the wig cap off later on. So you really want to just make sure you're keeping the stitches somewhat close together. And I don't know if you guys can even see this, but when I put the stitch through, I wrap it. Yeah, I'm doing this fast, but I wrap it in a string and I kind of make a knot after each stitch. So it's kind of difficult to see, but I put the stitch through and you guys will see this in 2 seconds. I'm wrapping the thread around this needle and pulling it through. So that's you see that? See what I just did there? I wrap the thread around the needle and pull through. And it just secures it a little bit more. Basically, that's all it really does. And I find it really important to do that. So you'll see me wrap the thread around the needle basically this whole entire video, because that's basically what I do. And I don't know if that's called an anchor stitch. You see that, what I'm doing right there? Yes, that is super important because you're making a knot. You pull it through. Anyways, that's the frontal. So sorry to waste 2 minutes of your life of you watching that, but hopefully you can see exactly how I sewed my frontal on now. And unfortunately, I didn't tint the lace. I just kind of pull it through and I'm gonna cut the thread and make a little knot here. But I didn't tint the lace, you guys. So later on, you'll see what the wig is gonna look like with untinted lace. Usually I tint the lace, but today I didn't. So now for the couple of back stitches for the first bundle and a half. If you have 4 bundles of hair, this is actually better. But since I only have 3 bundles of hair, you'll kind of see what happens. Basically, I'm going to be doubling up the wefts and sewing it onto the back of the wig head. And this is going to be the nape of the neck area. And I double up the stitches so you can get a lot more out of the bundles, so you can get a really full hair look, basically. And I'm just going to be doing that, kind of wrapping the needle with thread and pulling through. That makes a knot after each stitch. So although I might not do it after each stitch, I do it at least after every other stitch. If I forget, every now and then, it still doesn't make a huge difference if you forget, as long as you do it a majority of the time. So just pay close attention to how I'm stitching it, if you can see that. And I pull it and I make sure that it's secure, because the last thing you want is that your hair comes loose and part of your weave falls out when you're walking down the street because you didn't secure your stitches. That's the last thing that you want in your life. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, you guys. And I'm going to be doing this the whole entire time, so I am going to just kind of probably stop talking for a little while. But there's a couple more things I want to tell you about my sewing process. So when we're getting close to the edge, what I do toward the edge is I put the needle through the actual wefts and make that knot, put the needle through the actual wefts. Now sometimes you just want to put the needle underneath. You don't have to actually puncture the wefts. But on the sides, I actually put the needle through it. And that little needle that you saw me pull out is a T-pin. So I actually will use T-pins the whole entire time to kind of secure the hair in place and make it easier for me to sew the whole entire time. T-pins, if you can go to your local beauty supply store, to Sally's, you can even buy them on Amazon, I think. They are super, super, super helpful. And just making a knot. And then we're gonna flip the weft over. And we're just going to secure it with a T-pin again. And that's exactly what you see me doing, is securing it with a T-pin. And now I'm gonna start the sewing process. And I do that so I don't have to hold the weft. You don't have to keep worrying about the weft moving. You can just kind of sew straight through and not have to really worry about it that much. And sometimes your thread gets a little tangled. Sometimes you have to redo the thread if you find it gets tangled, but I do pre-thread my needles, at least 5 at a time, so that you don't have to stop that early. And you can buy all your needles on Amazon. I'll leave the link to the needles, I'll leave the link to the thread. Everything you need to make a really nice wig, you can buy on Amazon, or you can go to your local beauty supply store. And it's so convenient, you guys. They make it so convenient for you guys. So that's why I really feel like if you haven't made your own wig before, just try it. You know, the worst that could happen is that you don't like it, and then you can just take all the thread out and get a sew-in with the hair, you know? And right here, my thread got tangled, so I'm just like pulling it apart and making sure everything's secured. And so now this is probably like the last double up stitch you'll see, and I'm just going to probably stop talking in a little bit, but I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, you know. So basically we're about to get to the top of the head. So just because I think this makes it a little bit easier, I take like a single weft of hair and I am sewing it to the frontal. So I'm sewing the single weft of hair to the frontal just so we don't have any spaces. And it's really important to do this, especially if you only have 3 bundles of hair, because just in case you run out of hair, you can always take some extra bundles of hair or some extra wefts of hair from the back of the head. But this part, you really want to make sure you have enough hair to finish. So kind of sewing that weft to the frontal just like gives you a little bit of insurance just in case you might start running out of hair. And then I'm going to continue just sewing the single left back and forth until all that space you see is closed up, and then we'll be done sewing the wig. So yeah, I hope you guys found this a bit helpful. I know my hand was in the way. I have a burnt hand. I know it looks kind of funny, but I hope you guys like this video anyways. Okay guys, so from me making the wig, this is the final result, and you'll see me put this on in a little bit and style it, but I'm going to show you what I'm about to do to it. So you flip it inside out after you get done making it. You flip the frontal like this, and I've only bleached the frontal. I haven't actually tinted it, so that's why it looks like this. Then you just take a pair of scissors. This is my only pair of scissors I could find, and you're gonna cut part of the wig cap off, just the part that lays underneath the frontal. I'm just gonna cut a little bit of the lace off as well. Usually I like using smaller scissors to cut the lace, but I don't think I have smaller scissors at this very second. So I just I'm not doing a precise cut because this won't be the last time I cut the lace, but I'm just gonna cut some of the extra lace away. And you try not to cut any of the baby hairs off unless that's your goal, is to not have any extra flyaway hairs, but I try to not cut those. Okay. So I just cut this part of the lace off. And I mean, I would put this wig on right now, but I already have this wig on. So basically this is the construction. So you can see kind of the back and forth pattern where I sewed. And truthfully, this is pretty stretchy. You may have to make it a little bit bigger depending on how big your head is, to be honest. But this is gonna fit my head perfectly. I don't think I'm gonna add an elastic band to this. I think I might add, and this is from the styrofoam wig head. So if you use a styrofoam wig head, you're gonna end up with these little beads of foam, and you're just gonna kind of dust them off. Also, I think all I'm gonna do is add a clip back here, and the clips that I use vary. You can use combs or clips. I actually prefer combs because I do feel like clips can pull your hair out, so I do prefer combs. I don't have any makeup on right now either, so if you're wondering why I look like this, it's because I'm like sweaty and I don't have makeup on and I'm gross right now. But I usually get these little clips that you can use in the back, but I prefer to use a comb. So if you just go and get combs and sew those on instead of the clips, I think you'll be happier for it. But with this wig, if I can find a comb, I'll use a comb. If I can't, then I'll just use the clip, and I'll put the clip probably right where the sticker is, like that's kind of in the center. So the next time you guys see me, I will be wearing this wig, but at least you guys got to see the process of me making it. It's 11:24 and I started at like 9:30. So it's taken a couple hours to make this wig, and I actually really like the curl pattern. Actually, the hair doesn't smell weird at all. This is from Alipearl hair. When I come back in a little bit, you guys will see me with the wig on, and I may do my makeup and have my makeup done so you guys can just get the idea of that look that I'm going for. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. Okay, ready. So I'm back, and this is the final look with the wig on my head and my makeup done, and I wanted to just wear some red today. And so yeah, I really like how this hair is looking right now. I think it looks so freaking cute. Like, I was on Instagram live wearing this hair and I got so many compliments of people being like, what wig? And I'm like, I know. So the one thing I like is that I can actually like part this. I have a frontal on right now, and so I can part the hair like right here and just kind of like lay it over on the side. But the hair is so soft, you guys. Like, I can't stop touching it. It's so soft. And for me, so far, I haven't had any tangling. Like, I can actually like run my fingers through it. The one thing is, I don't really want to run my fingers through the hair because I don't want it to get bigger. And I know that's what happens when you run your fingers through it. Usually you end up making the hair bigger. So I love this curl pattern on this hair. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is literally some of the prettiest curl pattern I've seen in a very long time on some hair. And the one thing that I love is that I've spent a lot of money on hair before. Like, I've spent a lot of money on curly hair specifically. And one thing that annoys me about curly hair is that when you wash it sometimes, like, they'll send you, the company will send you like a frontal, and then they'll send you bundles. And the frontal and the bundles like won't be the same texture after you wash the hair. And that does happen. If you have had that happen to you, please comment below and let me know where you got that hair from, because that's happened to me a while ago, a few years ago. I purchased some hair, and when I washed it and conditioned it, after I did that, it was never the same. Like, the curl pattern never went back to how it looked. And that was in this picture right here that a lot of, my finger has eyeliner on it if you're wondering, but it's in this picture right here on the screen. That hair, after I washed it, it never went back to that curl pattern ever again. I could not get it back to that curl pattern, no matter what I tried, no matter what kind of shampoo and conditioner I used. It never went back to that curl pattern. And one thing I like about this hair is that I've washed this hair, I've gotten it wet, I've conditioned it, I've done a whole bunch of stuff to this hair, and it goes back to the curl pattern. Like, this curl pattern is the same in the frontal as it is in the bundles. And I love that about this hair. And this texture is their deep wave. And so when I first heard deep wave, I was thinking of a completely different texture. I was thinking of a more like wavy texture, but this is definitely like, I guess it's not super like duper like frizzy curly, but I mean, I can understand how this could be considered a deep wave for sure. So this is the deep wave. I have 20, 22, and 24 inches. So I only have 3 bundles of hair in with a 18-inch 13x4 frontal. So this is not a 13x6 frontal. As much as I love 13x6 frontals, I kind of wish I had a 13x6 frontal, but you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. This is 3 bundles of hair, and what I did is I doubled the 2 bundles up in the back, so it's like really thick, like right here in the back of my head. And then when I get up here, which you see in the video if you watch the whole video through, I do like 1 weft straight across until we get to the frontal. So that's what I got going on in my head, and I think it turned out really, really good. And so for me, I really want to try a couple of different styles with this hair. I want to see how flat I can like lay this hair, if I want to put it in a ponytail. I really feel like because this hair is so soft, it shouldn't be hard. Like, see what I can do right there? So I could totally do like a cute like pulled back look with this hair and slick it down like really, really good, because of the frontal being so flat to my head and me only using like 1 weft back and forth. At the top right here, I will be able to put my hair into a very nice low ponytail, which I can't wait to do. I feel like that gives me like Yara Shahidi vibes. So we're gonna see how I style this hair, but for the moment being, I think just wearing it like this is just really, really cute. And I'm just in a really like I'm in a mood today where I just feel like this hair just like suits my mood. This hair is so soft, you guys. So one thing I really want to stress to you guys is that frontals are not that's meant to be forever. And depending on what company you buy a frontal from, you're going to either get like 3 months use out of it or a year use out of it, or sometimes you'll only get like a couple months use out of it if you get it sewn into your head. And so I really want to stress that to you because, and I might actually put the quote into this video somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this is a hairstylist, and I screenshotted their picture. I might put it on the screen like right there so you guys can read it yourself. But basically this is saying, frontals are not cheap, people. They're expensive, they're high maintenance, and they don't care what hair company you get it from. It will eventually bald. It may bald in the front, it may bald on the side, it may bald in the middle, or whatever. Some bald quicker than others, or you may get lucky and it doesn't bald at all before you get it taken off. But they are not meant to be worn for a long time. If you cannot afford to replace your frontal when it balds, you should not get a frontal. And so I say that just because some of you guys don't want to get, some of you guys don't want to actually make your hair into wigs. Some of you guys don't want to actually make your own wigs, and I understand that. But I find that my hair lasts a very, very long time because I do make my hair into wigs and I take them off every night. I don't sleep in them. I take my wigs off every single night, and I take really good care of my wigs. And even if I'm not wearing my wigs, it goes into a hair drawer. And sometimes if I'm brushing it out, I make sure not to brush from the top down. There's a lot of things that you can do that can actually add to the shedding of your hair, that can add to the balding of your frontal, that can just add to your hair being tangly. And also I want to just talk about products for a minute. I use very specific products on my hair. So some of you guys may be like, Jocelyn, I have this hair and it doesn't feel soft. It doesn't end up looking the same as yours. What's wrong with this hair? Now I'm gonna tell you, I've spent thousands of dollars. Like I literally have spent well over $5,000 on hair before. Not at one time, but like cumulatively over an amount of years, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on hair. What I find is that you can have the most expensive hair ever. I bought hair from Freedom Couture before. There's a reason why you will never see a Freedom Couture review on my channel. But what I'm saying is, I've spent a lot of money on hair, so I do know a bit about hair. And I know that after you buy the hair, you can't just say, okay, I'm just gonna use whatever products I have on it. Some of the products you're using on your hair are going to help it look better. It's gonna like help it feel silkier, whatever. Some of the products you're gonna be using on your hair, some of the products you may use on your hair will not help it look good, will kind of make it tangle, will aid in the shedding like of your hair. So you really have to take into consideration the type of products that you're using on your hair. And I mean, I feel like you could look up products, you could just like do trial and error on products. The hair products that I use for all of my wigs and even for my natural hair is Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Conditioner. I have found that no matter what hair company I use, no matter what hair I have, what texture, the conditioner, the Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Conditioner from Bumble and Bumble, you can get it at Sephora. It makes my hair feel soft, silky, and super manageable, and you can actually deep condition with it and you'll love it. If you co-wash your hair with it, you'll love it. They also have a shampoo, and I use that at times too, but I'm not as picky with my shampoos, but I still only use certain shampoos. But this is not gonna be a video where I show you guys those. If you want a video on what specifically I use to wash my wigs and the products that I use specifically on my hair, I will give you guys that video and I'll upload that later on this week. If you want it, just comment below saying, yes, I want a video on your hair products, and I'll film that. But I just wanted to let you guys know that because I use certain products and they make my hair feel a certain way. And there's literally nothing, and now that I've started using the same conditioner on all my wigs and even on my natural hair for about 5-6+ months now, I have found that whenever I use anything else on my hair, it doesn't feel the same. So I'm not saying you need to use the same conditioner as me, but I'm saying you just need to be aware of the products that you're putting on your weave, on your wigs, on your natural hair, because it will affect how your natural hair and how your weave and how your wigs feel. Another thing I do when I'm wearing my wigs, I do still need to tint the lace on this. So if you're wondering why my lace looks a certain way, it's because I haven't tinted the lace. But another thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I don't blow dry my hair. I don't blow dry my hair. I always let my hair air dry. And if I want my hair to dry a little bit faster, I just sit it in front of a floor fan. Sounds funny, but I put the fan, if you have like a fan in your house, make sure the fan is clean, make sure it doesn't have dust in it, make sure it's just a clean out fan before you just turn it on and have all the dust fly into your hair. But what I do is I sit my hair on a chair, on like a corner of a chair, just like hanging it on there, and I turn the fan on high and it's blowing cool air in the direction of my unit, and then I'll come back in like a couple hours and the hair will feel soft, it'll feel silky, it'll feel dry, and then I'll just like straighten it or brush it out or whatever I want to do. And that's what I do to my hair. Just be aware of the products you're using and how you're drying your hair and what you're actually doing to your hair, because if you feel that you get a certain amount of hair, if you feel you get hair and it doesn't look the same way mine does in videos, that may not mean that the hair is bad. It may just mean that you need to get better products. It may just mean that you need to just switch out your products or stop blow drying your hair and just air dry it from now on. There's a lot of different things that can like cause your hair to feel and look certain ways. And I just want you guys to be aware of that. What else? Like I said earlier, frontals are not for everybody, and frontals are super high maintenance. I may not feel like my frontal is high maintenance because I haven't made into a wig, but if you get a sew-in on your frontal, or if you sew your wigs onto your head, or whatever the case may be, regardless, they're high maintenance, you guys. This isn't a closure. Closures are a lot less maintenance than a frontal, just so you know. And I only wear frontals, so they are definitely made to be replaced every few months, and that's just a thing. It's just a thing, especially if you get a sew-in. And so yeah, but I do want to say I've had hair from this company for months and months and months now, and I've loved all the hair this company has ever sent me. So anyways, enough of my talking little spiel. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next. Love you. Bye.